more Astro Tea. Before we get started, please do remember to like the video, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe so you can keep up with the content, as I do post quite often these days. And also thank you guys for all the support. So let's get into our 8th installment of the nodal series. This was previously recorded, but I mistakenly uploaded the Sagittarius North Node video in place of the Scorpio North Node video. So this is a redo because I cannot find the video now. I'm honestly really happy to be doing this over because it was really meant to be, because there was another montage that I actually wanted to use as an example, and I couldn't really find that video. But the Kanye West flashing lights reference, which is so Scorpionic for me, like, the energy, like the references to the sex, death, other people's money in that song and in the video as well, although in a brief video. So I'm glad I got to use that as an example as well. Even with the color scheme and everything, it just really paints the Scorpio energy so vibrantly, so well for me. I really like to give you guys a visual example of the energies I'm trying to explain. I feel like visuals really kind of drive it home, if not just give like a more well-rounded view of really what to kind of imagine when you're thinking about the energy that embodies Scorpio, especially Scorpio North Node. Let's get into it. Scorpio North Node. What is our node? Our node is all about the energy that's more toward our soul's growth and evolution. It also is representative of the future, so basically our future life. It's the nodes in general represent a karma, so the South Node and the North Node both represent karma. Now, when you have the North Node and the South Node, they come in a pair, the North Node being the dragon head, South Node being the tail. So we have the North Node always opposite the South Node. So we have our North Node in Scorpio. That's putting our South Node automatically in the sign of Taurus, which means we could have a past life of, like, it could have been quite superficial, just kind of like the humdrum every day, keeping a schedule. There probably was no passion, none. You probably were just not interested in your own spirituality or even change at all. You were probably, even when things went south in a relationship, you were so stuck in the rut that you just kind of proceeded about the relationship, and kind of like your partner could have been like, I'm not happy. You just keep on going without any change. Your partner could have been like, I'm thinking about taking a break. You just keep on with no change. Your partner ultimately is like, I'm leaving you. You can't change for the life of you. This is when you have the South Node in Taurus. I mean, because the South Node, the nodes in general, are representative of like demonic entities, basically, in traditional Vedic astrology. So the nodes in general, sometimes some of their traits or how they manifest in our lives in practical ways can sometimes be volatile or can be negative. Always to teach us to listen, never to just kind of like, just whoop our ass and beat us up, but ultimately to just teach us something. So with the South Node being in Taurus, it's teaching us that we probably we needed more adventure in life. We needed to kind of like not be afraid of like the darker side, i.e. Scorpio, the mysteries in life, i.e. Scorpio, not just being okay with just going about your life without any change, i.e. Scorpio. Scorpio is all about change and transformation and rebirth. It's all about sexuality, excitement, passion, the thrill, intensity, very polarizing energy, very extreme energy is Scorpio. Excuse me. Yeah, South Node person, again, in relationships, they could have just been really kind of stuck in a rut and just even been not very romantic, or whatever problem areas that they did have in life. They just were not interested in checking their own psychology and figuring out why they do things. They just kind of were okay, or just you are the Scorpio and North Node person, you just could have just again been very comfortable, because Taurus represents comfort, just very comfortable with how life was, and even if you did see things going awry because of your lack of changing, you still were, you could have just been not really understanding where to start. And again, Scorpio is all about psychology, so this could really be tied into your relationships having a lot to do with your own psychology, and kind of like digging deep into like why you do things and how your brain works. In this lifetime, again, you're meant to be open to therapy. It's not always the Scorpio energy and eighth house energy is not only about astrology and mysticism and the underworld and sexuality, which it is those things as well, but it's also, again, psychology. Why do I think the way that I do? How do other people think? Not being afraid of playing some mind games, or even your life could be taking a less sensual turn and a more sexual turn. So maybe you could have been like a little bit of a stick in the mud, or not being open to exploring your own sexuality. And this could just been for the simple fact that you were a workaholic, because Taurus South Node could definitely be the Earth South Nodes in general could just really have a past of being I should say the water North Nodes, they usually tend to have a past of being workaholics, or just very career driven, to the point where their personal life or their inner life, their emotional life, could have been played second fiddle to their outer world. And so we see this kind of play out with the South Node in Taurus, where they just could have just been, I just got to get up for work in the morning. Like, this is the typical Taurus, especially in their I would say lower vibration. They don't care about anything. Their significant other, or not that they don't care, but their main priority is their sense of routine, that sense of consistency. Because you got to think, this is an Earth sign, just down to earth, grounded, about our kind of pretty much our everyday reality. It's a fixed sign, so this is talking about fixed nature, the steadiness of it all. And then we're talking about Taurus people, which are traditionally stubborn. More than Capricorns, maybe not, but a very close second. So again, in this life, you're just meant to be open to like the darker side of like the mystery, even getting into astrology, and maybe tarot reading, and maybe you have a gift, or you have that sight, and everybody else, or the other people in your family, they might have like used this, or even took up a business, a esoteric business, or a business that was tied around spirituality, and again, like the etheric, and you could have been more so leaning towards something what you consider to be more practical, again, Taurus. So like you were just like, I have like a certain inclination towards these things, but I never necessarily wanted to take advantage. Well, in this life, you're meant to be open to your gifts, and you're very naturally intuitive with a South Node in a North or South Node in Scorpio. But with a North Node in Scorpio, you're meant to be more comfortable with that side of yourself, or tap into those gifts, or again, just being in general more open to the unseen, or even like, again, the underside of life, crisis, things that people would kind of turn their nose up, or like try to act like isn't there, but things that beneath the surface that we all have to deal with. You shouldn't be afraid of that. Maybe this is even you getting into detective work, or again, you becoming a mystic, an astrologer, getting into therapy, getting into your own, maybe this could be taking a vow of celibacy, because with the Taurus South Node, you could definitely, this could have been, I won't even say a sex addiction, although it could play out like that too. Tauruses can be known for that. So when we're talking about the darker energies playing out with the signs, yes, a Taurus South Node, this could be one of the ways it played out, like maybe a sex addiction, or an obsession with Taurus. I'm sorry, an obsession with sensuality, or with the opposite sex, or the same sex, or like something about your sex life could have just been unhealthy. So this could have been doing too much or too little in that area, bottom line. So with the North Node being in Scorpio, it's about more of a healthy sexual expression amongst other things. And this could also be in your romantic relationship. Speaking of, this is about being more passionate, about bringing passion into your relationships, not being afraid to be closely and heavily tied towards someone, getting more into your intimacy, not being so detached and so just like humdrum and like whatever, and just, you know, because again, Taurus South Node, sometimes they can lack that romance factor. They can just be like, you know, same thing is consistently, you know, in terms of like routine in the bedroom, in terms of the relationship routine. So with the North Node being in Scorpio, again, where's your passion, the excitement, not being able to play like those sensual mind games, because again, Taurus is all about sensuality, and you never want to completely abandon the traits of your South Node. You just want to learn to adopt the traits of your North Node and get more comfortable with those traits, but ultimately learn how to balance the two energies. So you definitely want to balance the sexuality with the sensuality, with the North Node being in the sign of Taurus. Now, hints that you're developing and you're maturing in life will mean that things regarding your South Node, your North Node, I'm sorry, you'll notice that traits or symbolism. And again, always remember that astrology can be very literal and very practical. So this could even be more Scorpios in your life and or Tauruses, more balanced relationships, relationships that are all about passion, where people tend to be a little bit clingier towards you. You know, these are hints towards you developing a stronger, basically you've evolved. It's a hint that you've evolved, based off of how, you know, measuring how close you are to activating your North Node. Now, usually around a certain age, we kind of get it. And if you have inner planets in conjunct your North or South Node, or usually your North Node, you tend to kind of already quote unquote get it. But sometimes those people kind of like either like a peak early, that's one way to put it, but they can just kind of jump the gun early in life, kind of like know-it-all syndrome. That could be one way inner planets conjunct your North Node plays out. So I would say like a North Node conjunct, your Sun conjunct North Node in Scorpio could play out something like growing up without a father, because that's usually one of the traits of Scorpio Sun, or with a father that just kind of was in and out. That's, you know, that's a possibility. That's not always a constant, right? But also just kind of being more self-aware and already being into astrology and mysticism and spirituality at an early age, right? And then at some point you just kind of like get bored with it and go off to college and live your best Taurus life, you know. So inner planets usually can play out like that. And this is in terms of your career, because we're talking about the sun. So that's just one example. But again, that's just one way that some of the inner planets an inner planet can play out with being conjunct one of the nodes. This is all I have for North Node in Scorpio. Stay tuned for North Node up in Sagittarius up next. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Thank you guys, and I appreciate the support again. I'll talk to you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.